Hey guys, hey, it's Whiskey, and we are back with season two, episode seven of the Everybody Can't Go podcast. And I'm here with my co host,
What up, though?
TK, the kid,
That's me.
Spinks, Paul Harris,
That's
full
it.
name.
All of that. Campbell. Paul Harris
Oh,
Campbell.
yeah. Did you wait, did you want
Long
hyphenate?
story. Long story.
Okay,
It should just be Campbell.
okay,
It literally be
okay.
Takana Campbell.
But Pioneer's last name is Campbell?
His last name is Campbell now. Yes.
Oh, okay, okay, sorry. You know what? As a woman who still goes by her married name, and I've been long since done, it gets complicated. See, the lives of women, if we could
It's
just like belong to ourselves.
it's the work that becomes necessary when it's necessary. When you know, you know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would love for us to be aligned in that way, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
when the moment allows for it, it's some big fish over here getting fried. And so
Yeah.
that little goldfish is set aside
Well,
right
it's a
now.
lot. Don't
Yeah.
get me started
Yeah.
on government and the labor it takes to get these small things
Yeah.
done
Yeah.
and what they kind of try to drain out of you just to get it done. And it's like, you know what? In
Yeah.
the grand scheme of things, this doesn't have to matter now. And we'll get to it. So
100%. So
that is the
that's what
thing.
I mean. So Takana Campbell will make it simple. You know what I mean?
Yes.
No matter what it-
Takana. I don't think I've ever called you Takana ever.
That is the name. That is the name.
I saw it spelled out and I was like, who?
Yeah. What? we
What is
that
it?
that is for another. I'll give it to my mom. She had a thinking cap on, probably thinking too hard. I don't know if it was the pain meds or what, you know what I'm saying? She definitely delivered on that one. Long story. She built the name out of other people's names. So it's dope when you hear the story, but it's too long.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I love that.
All those
I love this
extra
opening
syllables and
because this
letters is
is,
crazy.
you say what?
I said all those extra syllables and letters that's unnecessary is crazy, but if I were to write it out for you, you'd get it.
Unnecessary. This is just blackness. This
Yeah,
is just
you're
the black
100%.
experience.
Yeah, facts. And I feel like it, what's in a name, right? You know what I mean? And I feel like that speaks to the layers and layers of who I am.
Yeah.
The
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
complexity,
I'm big on
the
names, so I love
complexity.
that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. That
But
tracks.
TK the Campbell here, you know what I'm saying? AKA the Kid
Yes.
Speaks.
Now that you had the full background and
Yeah.
introduction.
Now that y'all know, you know what I mean?
Now we know. But this is a great opening because we are definitely going to have Auntie talk tonight.
Yes, we are. Let's get
Our
into it.
conversation is going to be full blown Auntie. So, y'all get it together,
One of
get your
my favorite one of my
perimenopause
favorite
tea.
roles. Yeah, one of my favorite Auntie is one of my favorite roles, so I'm here for it.
How do you feel about the term Auntie though? Because
I love it because I am one.
I'll say this for me. I love it in certain circumstances, but I do see where certain people try to use it as like a an insult. And I don't know if it's just me taking it personally because I'm in this phase in my life where like, I'm going through perimenopause. I'm reworking what my sensuality, what my femininity and stuff means. And I feel good. I feel very woman. And then it's like
Okay.
someone's quick to be like, "Oh, auntie," and say it like kind of as an insult. And I'm just like, I don't know if I'm banging with it.
Yeah, and meanwhile, me on the other hand, I'm like, you can't insult me with my wisdom and my experience. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that's really what you're saying. You're probably making it about age, but I know that age is for me is synonymous with wisdom and experience. And so since I'm the expert of my own experience, I'll take Auntie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I get that. It's more like the intention behind why the other person is saying it versus how I receive it. And I think the older I get, the more I'm aware, especially of just ageism, and especially being a heterosexual woman. Like, if I were a lesbian, I feel like there's a lot more grace because you understand other women, you understand other people like you. But I feel like we've been socialized to just like be really shitty to women who are aging and in our aging process. And I don't know, maybe
It's
I'm
crazy.
defensive.
No, I think it's very valid where you're coming from. I just think that somebody that's trying to shame me, good luck.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like at the end
yeah,
of the day, because I'm literally I have the jump on you because you are gonna sit here.
yeah,
That's really all of the checkmate I need. Like, okay, girl. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
okay, girl.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because then that's when that table turns and it's full circle and I see you again. And it's like, yeah, I'm the auntie now. Yes, ma'am, you are.
And
You know what
that
I'm
is the
saying?
thing with the younger generations and the whole ageism thing is like, you're supposed to get older because the
Yeah.
alternative,
Yeah.
you ain't going to like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, and it's crazy because Rena and I, she always gets. I mean, she's such an integral part of my life, so she always gets play here. But with the things that she's going on, what she has going on, I told her, I said, um, for all the women who have issues with their body, question whether or not it's performing as it should, or has let them down, or whatever it is in their past. The one thing that you can like find solace in is the aging process because that
Yeah,
is the sign that your body is doing exactly what it's supposed to. That's
yeah.
the one
You're
thing
on track.
that for sure is
Yeah,
supposed to be happening. Maybe the if and the whens, you know what I mean? You can't have that all inked out, but at the end of the day, this is a sign that you are progressing into maturity.
yeah,
And once you get past some of these stages, I mean, people, as I see, I don't see my grandma walking around doing this. You know what I'm saying? I don't see my grandma walking around doing that.
yeah,
Eventually, you get past those stages too. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Transition and change is always the hard part. But it's just a sign that you are walking into a level of your maturity that you hadn't experienced before. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
That's tough to say when you're not experiencing it and you got to face your body in that change.
yeah,
But that's just a part of having a body. That's the
yeah,
experience of having a body. It's no different than coming of age. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
That that sucks
It
just as
is like
much.
a second coming of age. It's like
A
a second
second
puberty.
a second coming of age. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And yet
And I love
and
it.
yet
I
less
feel
people
more
fall apart.
prepared for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And all of the healing work I've done around like self-compassion and having grace for myself and understanding my body and its ties to my mental health journey, like I feel great.
Yeah.
It's just that I'm so aware of when love is not coming in or when ill
Yeah.
intentions are coming in because like I don't play about me.
Yeah.
So I can tell when it's
Come
like a
on.
loving, like, oh, I see, or whether it's like a
Like,
I'm trying to shade you and call you
yeah.
an old chicken. It's
Yeah.
just like
Uh-huh.
obviously the trained response is just like you don't pay these people no mind. But the old me still lives very underneath, right underneath the flesh, and I just
As she
want to punch
should.
niggas again. And I
As
feel
she
like
should.
that.
And it's the fact that you don't punch them. That is the
But I
part.
be wanting to.
That here those weapons come forming. There they go, not prospering. You know what I'm saying? It's just like one of them things. You know what I'm saying? They're here to test our patience. They're here to
Yeah,
test. But you know what? I also think about that. In what you were just saying, I feel like once you get to like entering in whatever stages of menopause, right? I feel
yeah.
like for the first time,
Pre-menopause.
pre, peri,
Sorry.
menopause, post, whatever, all of the many phases and layers, I feel like it's almost as if your body is immediately saying, it's time to pay attention to me.
Yeah,
Like for all of the times that you ignored your body and put
yeah,
everything else first. Like when
yeah,
that heat comes, you can't ignore it. When
yeah,
that ache comes, you cannot, for the first time, it is really making you inside your body. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And I hear many people say, I feel like my body is a mind, and a lot of disassociation because how it just changes so abruptly. But I feel like I literally watch women become more in tune with their bodies, even
Yeah.
though they're very uncomfortable in the experience of it. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? It brings them to a halt and pause to actually focus on themselves for once,
Oh
because
yeah.
they have to decide in that moment something that they're going to do for them that's going to serve them. And women spend a lot of their lives not doing that.
Well, absolutely. And
Yeah.
that's one of the things they talk about in the healing community is that after you start rooting up this trauma and working through it mentally, a lot of people start to deal with health ailments because it's like your body goes into survival mode
Yeah.
and just like keeps you alive. And then it's like, oh, you healthy now. You need to get
Yeah.
to the
Yeah.
hospital.
Yeah.
Like now.
Yeah.
Now
Immediately.
you're taking care of yourself. You need to take care of this, and this. And I definitely feel that within the aging process. I have all these
Yeah.
vitamins. I started like, I go through depressive episodes, so it's hard for me to stay consistent. But like when I'm in my bag, I'm walking every day and I'm doing like strength training, weightlifting is so good for women who are menopausal because you start to become like insulin resistant. So you need to build up that muscle mass.
Yeah.
And a lot of the things that we're in, what I think like why menopause hits us so heavy too is because we have been masculinized in the way that we're supposed to operate in this world, like this go, go, go ambition and being in the
Mhm.
workplace. And it's just like, no, there are natural ways that our body is supposed to rest. I don't think
Yeah.
society is aware of how much rest women need. Like
Yeah.
just because our bodies are walking ecosystems and we
Yeah.
need to sit down.
Yeah. Correct. Correct. How else do
But
we
we don't
think
have the
we holding
luxury
up the
of doing
stars in the
that. So it's like
Yeah.
you have to reclaim it when you go through it. It's like your body is like, no, you
Yeah.
need to sit down.
Correct. Correct. Been holding up stars, suns, and moons every day since forever. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It's good to
The,
release it.
the beauty,
Yeah.
the beauty,
It's
the beauty, the beauty of a woman and the changes that go along with it.
yeah, it is a beautiful process when I experience it myself. Sharing it with other people is has been interesting, I think, but I
It's
think
tough
it
though.
is
It's a
good.
tough journey.
It's a tough journey, and then I didn't realize how much that culture pushes youth in beauty and I don't know, Meg the Stallion needs, right?
Yeah,
So it's just kind of like it's interesting looking at womanhood through a different lens. It's like it's so much more than what we've been socialized to think that it is. And I'm like ready to tell the young girlies, and I feel like, yeah, we got to get them there because the trends are coming back. The
yeah,
super skinny look, the over sexualization, like it's all here. And I that's what we're gonna talk about today. Is just like Auntie talk, right? Being in the world, but not of it, and
yeah.
all this stuff that is pushed in society. It's like, when do you call out? When do you talk to folks about it? Or what part of you just leads by influence? And I think that's where I get caught up a lot of times because I don't want to argue with people about stuff that should be common sense. It's just like, watch the movement.
Period.
But I
Period.
don't know if we're there yet. I don't know if we have to beat it into people at this point.
So I think there's nothing new under the sun. You know what I'm saying? Of course. And so it's just waves and waves of things, and it just keeps on spinning and bringing itself back. The scary thing is that I feel like when it comes back, it's like multiplied. The depths
Yeah.
of it is multiplied, and that's the scary part. I talk to Rena all the time, like even thinking about shows like Baddies and shit like that. Like
Hmm.
I always say, like, man, I just pray London doesn't grow up and want to be a baddie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's so like socialized, and there's so much uh value put in hood, ghetto, ratchet things, fighting and women degrading women and all these. I mean, that's in theory what the whole premise of the show is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Women beating each other up, talking crazy about each other, getting
Yeah.
money together in between, not liking each other for real, fake loving each other on the other side. We sisters today, we fighting tomorrow, and it's like a constant cycle of that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I just don't want to teach her that that's what relationships look like, with
No.
yourself or others. You know what I'm saying? That you have to degrade yourself in order to be seen and valued.
Yeah.
So but I think back and I think back of probably what our parents were saying about our, you know, the shows and the music and the this and the that. And I'm sure that in their head, they were saying their music were more, oldie but goodies was more wholesome and this, that, and the third. But then I probably could think back to their parents and their parents probably saying now, y'all talking about drinking and you know what I'm saying? So I think
Yeah.
I think every generation is gonna have their thing. I just feel like the bad things get worse in every
Yes.
generation. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? And when do we say when? I think
Yeah.
that is when do we say when so we don't continue this vicious cycle of further deepening the hole um that we got to dig ourselves out of. When the rest of the world is already doing enough to put us in it. You know what I'm saying? Why do we
Yeah.
continue
I
to dig
mean,
ourselves deeper inside?
we're in the hole.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know the way out because we're not supposed to be exposed to this many people at one time. So you can't even the respectability politics come into play with the idea that women want to be free, right? We want to all have our freedom journeys and we all want to be like, no. But I think a lot about, and it actually came up as one of the scriptures of the week on the Bible app about like don't let your liberties be a stumbling block for other people. And I think a lot about that. Like the free spirited part of me is just like, I don't need a bra, whatever.
Right.
But it's like, well, no, you do because it just life is just easier that way. You ain't got people looking at you and lusting at you for the wrong reason when you think
Yeah.
you just free, but you're walking in a place where there's like 8-year-old boys or something. They're like staring, then maybe you could just put on a bra kind of
Yeah.
thing. But I don't think that
You'll
we
be all
think
right.
about that. You said what?
I said you'll be all right if you put that bra on.
Right. Like
Yeah.
you own them and
Yeah.
it's like you wear them to work because you
Mhm.
know like HR gonna have you downstairs
Mhm.
if you even
Right.
so it's like if you're in a situation where there's going to be children around and like what are you wearing? How are you showing up? And I think it's just like a courtesy of understanding that it's not Burger King. You ain't always gonna have it your way. And there are ways that we should be adapting ourselves socially in order to get along and accommodate other people like that we have to share the earth with. But I think we've become so individualized that the more base things kind of appeal to that kind of like f you, I do what I want mentality, and that kind of like leads us to where we are today
Yeah.
in the culture and the music, how we present ourselves. And I don't know, I'm full on auntie about this. Like I've been sort of abreast of the discourse with Young Miami and India Ari. And that's when, yeah, my auntie reared its ugly head, and I was like, because I feel like I've been experimenting with this, and there's ways that you can be feminine and you can
Mhm.
talk your
Mhm.
ish and you can be
Mhm.
sexy or whatever
Mhm.
without just putting bad crap into the universe.
Yeah.
So, I know you said you recently had a discussion about this. Do you want to talk about that?
Well, so
What
yeah,
you
when
guys
I
talked about at your event?
yeah, no, when I went out to Truth's Frequency Friday, so she just launched a new open mic out in Baltimore.
Yeah,
So I went to
I
go
love
check
that you
that
guys
out.
talked about it.
Yeah. And so the song came up and she was asking the crowd about thoughts and I think it was I think we were aligned, but the crowd was still mixed at the same time. I think we all understood that the message was where the confusion was. I
Yeah.
think that a lot of people wanted to separate the music, the bop, from the lyrics.
So,
Um,
well, let's talk about that before we get there. Young Miami is half of the rap group. What are they called? I don't even know what they're called. This is how far
what is it
removed
called?
I
Something
am
like
from.
Diddy something? Somebody. I ain't into it. So
This is really.
yeah, I don't really listen to these people. Yeah, I listen to the music I listen to, which is if you ain't put 90s music on for real, I'm probably not listening.
And I ain't with it. No.
Oh,
So
City
no,
Girl.
so
It's that City Girls.
City Girls. And I actually hate
That's
that
how that's how
concept.
that's how out of touch I am. That I ain't
That's
know
how
that
out of
without
touch I
looking it
am
up.
too. Yeah. So the full disclaimer is that I stopped listening to hip hop music after it was a dope year, a dope summer. I think I was like a senior in high school or just graduated, but like Noriega and like Pastor Cavassier and like all those songs, like
Oh
that
yeah,
was
see
like
that?
the
Yeah,
best.
yeah. That's my vibe. I probably get good into about 2005, 2006,
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
as right as like the Young Money era was, and then after
Yeah.
that it's like, you know what I'm saying, because music just
Yeah.
started there.
Used to be a huge
It
Lil
was
Wayne fan, believe it or not.
all that mumbling, and don't understand it, and and I think because I come from a family that has uh such misfortune with
Mhm.
drugs and alcohol abuse. I think
Yeah.
that music that promotes pills and lean and this and that, I'm here for a good drink. I'm here for a good Pastor Cavassier.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm here for a good gin and juice. You
Yeah.
start talking mixing cough syrup and Kool-Aid and all that and ecstasy and popping this and all, you lost me. You lost
Yeah.
me. You know what I'm saying? You start doing that, you take me clean out of my comfort zone.
Yeah. And
Because
also, is it a reflection of the artist's actual life? Because I know that Future has come under fire for this, for being like, oh, I don't do that stuff. So why are you
and
rapping about
that's
it?
the scary
And that's
part.
the whole thing, especially with like hip hop music. The culture is supposed to be like, I'm rapping about my experience. But if you
Yeah.
allow yourself to become kind of a slave to whatever the industry's doing, and they tell you rap about this,
And here
and you
we
just
are.
start rapping about this, then you a whole pawn, and
And
you are
therein
not the
lies
culture.
and
For
therein
me, like
lies the scammers.
and like so we're gonna get to that. I just wanted to give background. For I will just say for me, I never really listened. I've always been an alternative girly, and obviously that's come to light recently. It's always been something I keep to myself because people always want to like quiz me and talk to me about like hip hop music and stuff. And I'm like, I'm not a part of that culture because I peeped early on in like girlhood that this does not edify me and it does not make me feel good. I don't like how it feels with the women being objectified as video vixens. I don't like how it feels to be like I'm on the dance floor, I'm a bitch and a hoe and a hoe and no, I just couldn't get with it. Not that I was any better because I listened to hard heavy metal music that was talking about killing people. So,
You gotta pick
we
your
all have
poison.
our problematic things.
Yeah.
I was like, that is not positive music. Kill him. You know,
That is
so yeah,
crazy.
but so I'm not tapped into the hip hop though. As far as I go with the hip hop community is supporting local artists, and that can be hard for me too because you can see where the misogyny has seeped into them, and it's like they don't even know how to respect or look a woman in the eyes and talk to you like a human being because the indoctrination is that oh you're not a person, you're just if we're not about to have sex, if you're not bent over twerking, then why are you here? Kind of energy. So that's always been interesting to navigate. So I'm checked out, which is why I was just like, who the city girls, whoever.
Honestly,
So but what I kind of stay on the cusp of whatever pop culture is talking about. So the background is that Young Miami, who also was Diddy's girlfriend before he went into jail for all this stuff, and she has written, which I think is a separate problematic thing with separating the art from the artist. If you are a woman who is writing character witness statements to try to get a predator out of jail, I don't respect you and I don't want to hear your music and you don't get to have a summer bop. So the fact that she can even still make music and be respected in our community, I think is a problem.
yeah.
So the controversy is that, the song of the summer is Spin That. And basically, it's a song about, like, I guess on the I'll Be Nice, to just say it's an F capitalism song, right? Like, scam and steal, lie and cheat to get what you want because the higher ups are doing it, the elite are doing it, so why not you kind of thing. And NDRE, neo soul artist who came out back in the early 2000s when we was pumping music heavy, And she's known for talking about body positivity, what it is to be a dark-skinned woman navigating life who doesn't fit in with those stereotypes. She speaks on the song and she's basically like, why is this the song of the summer? She's like, why do we
Who
put
voted?
a dope beat over something with harmful messages and we all bop to it because the beat is catchy, not realizing what it's doing to our psyche?
Yeah.
And what does this mean for our community that we're just accepting this because it is catchy? And I was interested in this conversation. It caught my eye because there's something exhausting about being in the world and not of it. There's
Yeah.
something exhausting about feeling like you always have to call this stuff out and the isolation that comes with it. Because I imagine our Auntie podcast episode ain't going to win me no points with the youngins, but I also don't care because at a certain point, like, when do we stand for something more? So that's the background information on the conversation. And we were going to talk about this, and you said you had this conversation at Truth's open mic. So how did that go?
Yeah, so like I said, she brought it up as a part of, somewhat of the opening of the show, and
Yeah,
just kind of allowed everybody in the room to weigh in on it. Like I said, I think that overall everybody did agree that the messaging was um not positive.
problematic.
Just problematic and not positive. I think everybody agreed with that.
That is
Um
not positive.
that the messaging is not positive
Yeah.
and problematic. I think everybody in the room agreed with that. I think
Okay.
that that's where I think the conversation took its turns with, separating the people want to just listen to the music and want to disregard the words. And I'm not really paying attention to the words. And you know what I'm saying? Um, then people were basically saying, like, I mean, this is not the worst song we ever heard in our lives. I'm sure you know, we were singing things in our youth
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
were dangerous, and we definitely had our the trick daddies of our day. You know what I'm saying? And it was
He's
a lot of
still mouthing off. He the
yeah,
main
a lot
one
of a lot of
supporting
lot of
this.
crazy stuff. As a matter of fact, Rena has a whole piece that's one of
I
her
love that
signature
piece.
pieces. Everybody who's ever heard it loves it. But
I
that's one
love
of her signature pieces that speaks to that very thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Sadly, most of the time, most of these songs come at the expense of women, though. That's the
exactly.
issue.
And that's
You
why
know
I
what I
can never
mean?
get with it.
It's the expense of women that make a lot of these songs even harder to listen to, because you see
Well,
it
and
play out.
then
The reason why she exists today to create a song like this is because it was already normalized
right.
before, and that's my concern, which goes back to what we
It's
were
the
talking about
evolution
before.
of the video vixen. It's like
Yeah,
instead of being hot in the video on the side twerking, if you give that woman a mouthpiece, what is she talking about?
yeah,
And the message is carrying water for the
yeah,
patriarchy. This does not benefit women to be talking about any of the stuff that I think. I mean, I like Dochi. I feel like I like the stuff that she talks about, but for the
mhm,
most part, it's like hard for me to see it as women's empowerment when I start getting into women rappers because I'm just like, how does this edify us
yeah,
if the culture is all about external experience,
yeah,
not external experience, but external
right,
appearance, and
yeah,
then how you can satisfy men and then scam them. And
yeah,
that's literally like the extent of it. And it's just like, what happened to, just like liking someone for who they are?
yeah. No, but
We're
not
not
not in
even
this world.
talking about
But but
men.
actually, I don't know if I was reading something or watching something, and they were basically saying that today, I think it might have either been one of those a short or something, but they were actually talking about my being down in Miami and how
Mhm.
love and relationships is no longer even a thing because everyone is tricking in some capacity. Everything is transactional. Everyone is either paying for something or being paid for something,
Yeah.
or taking something. You know what I'm saying? That is the status quo of today that everybody's looking to get over,
Yeah,
manipulate, scratch, claw, scheme. And that's scary. You know what I'm saying?
it's
Because
scary.
we're talking about it in one lens as it relates to like money and material things and stuff like that. But going back to what I was saying earlier about, the scamming nature of it, of people, that is the opposite of standing in integrity, right? So
Yes,
that's happening in your relationships, that's happening on your job, that's happening with your friendships, with your family. You know what I mean? That idea is running its course in your mind. You are depositing that into your heart and don't know it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
You do not know the seed that you are watering with your
yeah,
words, because it's a bop and you like it. You know what I'm saying? It's a bop and it's cool, but every time you are repeating it. And what was crazy was that during this time while she was um having a conversation, as we would go through the night, the song would come back up again. Someone would either say that phrase or someone would twist the phrase to whatever was happening
yeah,
at that moment, but it was just so like embedded in the actual night, like it was stuck. And like, no
yeah.
lie, I find my keep in mind, I don't even listen to the radio. I ride for most times in the car with no sound. I ride in silence. I got a lot going on. So I'm processing
Yeah.
information at high speeds all day long. You know what
You
I'm
be
saying?
talking to Jesus.
But you know what I'm saying? Jesus, sometimes myself, sometimes preparing for a conversation. Like it's always something happening,
Yeah,
right? But I even find myself with that in my head because I've heard it in a store or I heard it in passing or me walking into another environment and it's playing in somebody else's car. Like
it's
it's
catchy
in
as
the back
hell.
of my, yeah, oh, 100%. So I definitely want to be clear on how I know that it definitely is catchy and it'll have you in the mix. When do we guard ourselves so that we don't get mixed up in the mix? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And that becomes our job and goes back to what you're saying about our responsibility of
yeah,
deciding to be in the world but not of it. And where do we draw the line on those things? Are we taking that on in everything? Are we putting some stuff aside? Oh, it's just music until
yeah,
what? It's just music until it manifests in real
yeah,
life. It's just music until it becomes the mentality of our youth. And so, they're out here. It's summertime. This is the time where people out. And I remember when it was nice last year and
yeah.
people breaking into everything, and you know what I'm saying?
Oh
Like,
yeah, they were stealing out of the Lululemon stores.
I
We're not going to talk
mean,
about how DC is shut
yeah,
down right now because
yeah,
the folks have been going in and looting and stealing. It's been
yeah,
like a
you know what I'm
major
saying?
problem. The
It's
CVS's, the
dangerous.
high-end
It's dangerous.
stores.
It's dangerous.
But it's a matter of I think people kind of want to listen to what they want
Yeah.
and don't want to think about the effects that it has on our psyche.
Yeah.
And I wish that we would go a little bit deeper with things because yeah, I feel like you can see it in the misogyny that is rampant in the Black community. You can
Hmm.
see it in how women are treated and regarded. And then, like, having moved into music myself, I can see the impact of my words. It's actually like the coolest thing, right? I'll be like, the band's behind me, and I'm thinking no one's paying attention, but there'll be women in the audience like, yes, and
Hmm.
even before I did music, I
Yeah.
had a gig at a bar in Miami, and I was just talking about I think it was the poem that I posted today. It's a poem called Bodies, and it's about cheating, and it's a party atmosphere, and that's like a cheeky poem that I do like at like turn up events, and this woman burst into tears
Hmm.
because she was
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, I feel that is my
Yeah.
experience. So it's like the words are permeating
Yeah.
whether they
Yeah.
resonate with your lifestyle or
Yeah.
not. Even like
Yeah.
reckless spending,
Yeah.
the like I'm on Fashion Nova the other day, like I ain't got no money, but let me just
Let me
My
get this.
goodness.
Let me go get this dress for the sneaker ball. Oh.
I did order the dress, but
And I can't wait to see you in it.
we all working. You know what I'm saying? I'm mad I don't get to wear heels with it, but we.
Hey, next time, you know what I'm saying? Next time, you could
Yeah,
always
I'm like
wear
I'm
heels
not a
with it
sneaker girly.
somewhere else. You could always wear heels with it somewhere else. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
yes, the possibilities are endless,
Yeah,
but I don't know. It just disturbs my spirit. But I don't know. I think about I know that we are here to be like God, right? And so how God was treated on earth and how people treat God is likely what's going to happen to us when we align ourselves with God. But I just be like, is it even worth it to speak out on these things? Because it's so frustrating to talk to people who are
yeah,
okay still listening to R. Kelly and separating the music from the artist. And it's like, where does that end? Where do we
yeah,
start making integrity cool again?
yeah,
Because if the elites are spending money at this rate, and if we do have to go to a barter system or like civilization collapses as we know it, the thing that used to keep civilization together is your word. Your
yeah,
word was your bond.
yeah,
That means nothing.
yeah.
So the whole
Trust has been
underlying
dismantled.
thing of the song, yeah, is
Yeah,
that we aren't going to know how to human anymore since we've taught each other to just consume.
yeah,
And it is that deep. Just like we always say, everything is about race. It is that deep. This country
yeah,
was founded on the backs of slaves and the horrible treatment of enslaved people.
yeah,
So the idea that nothing is about race is kind of the same thing with this. It's like,
yeah.
how is the song about scamming not about scamming?
Yeah. Facts. Facts. In every regard and capacity. Yeah,
And how
yeah.
does this edify? And when do we move to the
It
point
doesn't.
where art is supposed to edify? Like the Harlem Renaissance is something good that came out of a dark time for this country, but it's like if we have in another art renaissance, and this is what we're talking about, is it a renaissance at all?
Yeah. So that I
Where's
mean,
the
and that's
revolutionary music?
I think that's the issue. And we talk about this a lot already with just to your point, overconsumption. There being I'm not gonna say there's too many artists. I won't say that. But what I will say is that the need for artists to be seen and to be validated versus to be change agents and um stuff like I think that's the issue. I think that the whole point in all of it is to lift up and elevate your community. So anything that's opposite of that
Yeah.
is opposite of that. You know what I'm saying? And I get that every song is not going to have all these deep messages. You know what I mean?
No.
But it doesn't have to. It just shouldn't have these very derogatory messages. We could just sing about the summertime, you know? We could just sing about the cookout, you know? We can. And it doesn't have to
Yeah.
be, like I said, something that deals in politics and all of these other things that get all deep and heavy that sometimes people want to get away from.
Yeah.
I get that part.
Yeah.
But all of the stuff that when we deposit, we know is going to take up root and then cause some sort of discord either within ourselves or within the relationships with other people, we
Yeah.
have to consider that. And honestly, I think that that's why the tribute for Lauryn Hill was such a refreshing thing for people who saw
Yeah.
it because you could miseducation of Lauryn Hill me anytime. It's once that played, it was almost like I was ready to listen to Lauryn Hill's album every day for the rest of the summer because it
That's a
took me
black
back.
woman success
It
story.
Yeah,
Eating off an
it
album for
took me
years.
back to a summer that it talked about heartache, it talked about all these things,
Yeah.
but it was real. There was depth. I I could feel it on the inside of me, not just on the outside of me. Like it like almost I was telling my cousin it was like I time traveled
Yeah.
listening to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is
Mhm.
not, I don't feel like this is the kind of music that,
Transcends
20,
anything.
20, 30 years from now is going to take me back to a time that I enjoyed very much. You know what I'm
No.
saying?
But remember that
Not
summer when we was all
associating.
transactional and
Yeah.
everybody was hammered?
Yeah. Like, what? No. No. And knowing that this is the music that my children will be raised on. I
Yeah.
think that I know better. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know better. So even if I was in the car and didn't turn it immediately when it was playing, I know better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But am I putting them in a position where they know better? Just
Yeah.
because just because I can exist in this place and I know how to take the meat and leave the bones. You know what I'm saying? Like, is that what they are in a position to be able to do if I allow them to consume it? Do they know the difference? Or do they think that I support the message because I allow them to listen to it? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Is that where I need to draw the line? I hear people all the time talking about, I think it was Cardi B who was saying like she don't let her kids listen to her music. Well, then why do you make it? Then why do you make it? On the flip
Yeah.
side of that, I understand people saying like, and at the time, Cardi B's married, stuff like that. So what a grown married woman does, with her spouse, and there's grown women music that's supposed to exist for grown women things. I get that.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the radio station don't play like that. It don't be
No.
like, oh, it's kids in the, it don't be like do 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 do. You know what I'm saying? AI, kids in the car, we not about to play that.
Right.
That's not how it works. The TV is not doing that. Yes, we're setting up parental controls for things and stuff like that, but these kids these days smarter than us. They know how to bypass all of that. At the end of the
Yeah.
day, we have to be responsible with the things that we put into our ears and our minds and our hearts, but we more got to be responsible for the next generation that's going to be built on it. See, we weren't built on it, so we know how to reject parts of it. You know what I'm saying? We know that it makes, even though we like, yeah, we also like, I don't want to say that part
Yeah.
though. Yeah, that's the part I'm not gonna repeat. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah.
a I'm gonna bob my head to it, but I know which lines are my lines and
Right.
which
Because
lines
all
are
that
your
pixie
lines.
stuff Destiny's
Yeah.
Child was talking about, I ain't say them.
Yes. Yes. You see what I'm saying? But the kids don't know that. The kids don't know that this part is not the part for them not to say. And so they are watering the seeds that they have
Yeah.
planted with their words.
Yeah.
And that's where we got to get more responsible with the message.
Yeah. And I think it's hard because it doesn't make you likable. Like my father broke my brother's CDs. Like that Bone Thugs and Harmony, Ouija, are you with me? It's like, Ouija, are you what?
Right.
Not in this house. So
Yeah.
I grew up kind of with and it's so funny that their music was so monitored, but mine wasn't because it's like we don't know rock music, we don't know what that's about. So something slipped under the radar, and
Yeah.
I caught it myself. I had to be very intense about making sure I wasn't listening to satanic music
Yeah.
because rock can go in that direction. So it had to be me though, because my parents was not checking for my music. They was like, "We don't know what that is. We
Yeah.
assume it's okay."
Yeah. We don't know what that is, and we're not trying to find out.
And we not trying, but with them, he was on top of them. So I'm used to. I was just taught in a household. Grew up in a household where it's like you have to. The Bible talks about guiding your ear gates and your
Yep.
eye gates. You have to be
Yep.
careful of the things that you're consuming
Yep.
because you are consuming it. It is going into your psyche, and
Yeah.
it's kind of like with the separation of art from the artist with this song I don't understand is that the artist is trash. And I can't, and
For
I say
starters.
that with all the disdain in the world, and God gonna work on my heart me being judgmental, but I'm sorry if you're standing by someone who is convicted of these things, and even if they're like, oh, the government and the elites came after him, he didn't do that stuff. We saw the video of what he did to that woman.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
saw him
Yeah.
beating a woman. We all saw it with our
Right.
own eyes. So at this point, why do we have excuses for any of the people in his circle? Even watching the documentary where you could tell like people were telling these stories of how they were done wrong by him, but at the end of the day, you were staying waiting for your check.
Yeah. Yeah.
You watched all this violence occur.
Yeah.
You knew about the parties and what he was doing to
Yeah.
people, but you stayed because you
Yeah.
still wanted your money. So a
Checkmate.
woman who's involved in this, who was getting her money based on being affiliated with him, coming out with a song that's basically like "Get your money,
Yeah.
scam, however way you need to get it." I'm not messing with that
I'm not
message,
messing.
and I'm not
Yeah.
messing with the messenger and all the things behind it, because in
That's it.
the thing that I hate in the artist community is that we let people get away with murder and treat us like trash if they're talented. And
Yeah.
I was like, the
Not
way my
me.
integrity set up, I can't do it. I don't
Yeah.
care how talented you are. You're not going to talk to me crazy. You're not going to sow discord and be like a terrible, abusive person and mean to people just because we know you're going to bang it out at the concert. I
I don't think
can't
so.
do it.
I don't think so.
Can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I don't respect it.
yeah, and that's why like when I think about the interpretations platform, why it's so important to me that it is by invitation only, that I know
Yeah.
that people understand the vision and the mission, that everybody there is in alignment, because that's how you protect the integrity of something. If you just
Yes.
let everyone in just because they're good, there's a lot of great, dope poets as it relates to putting words together and making them
Yeah.
sound good and being palatable and being something that the world wants to consume.
Yeah.
Oh,
But we
I
got a
mean,
little predator problem.
yeah, but I could ask them all, but will they stand up to the overall mission? And are they in
Yeah.
alignment with the integrity that I want the platform to hold? And if that's not a yes, if I don't
Yeah.
understand that as a yes, then that's where I have to be able to be okay with my no. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And a lot of people aren't there yet where they can decide I'd rather go alone than go in a group that won't serve me in the end. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah.
It might take me longer to get there. But when
And
I
you will
get there,
be
I can be
misunderstood
palatable.
along the
Yeah,
way.
correct. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You'll be the
But
problem.
yeah, but I'd rather go that way. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Than just be accepting anything. I mean, the Bible tells you over and over, like, meditate on this day and night, think on these things. Your heart is where, in essence, everything of you flows from. Well,
Yeah.
what's in your mind goes into your heart. So if you're listening to it, saying it, repeating it, meditate on something day and night
As a
and
man
vision
thinketh
it.
in his heart, so is
So is
he.
he.
Like you
Right. So
start to think these thoughts,
all of
it
these things,
becomes.
yeah, they become who you are. And so while we want to just say it's just music, we all know what music does. If you're listening to an upbeat song and it make you feel good, you up. You put on
Yeah.
a you put
Yeah.
on a old Mary J. Blige joint talking about a broken heart, and you might
You're
be
heartbroken all of
crying.
a sudden.
Yeah, you might be crying. You know what I'm saying? Because music,
I'm going down.
yeah,
I was just up, but
exactly.
apparently I'm down.
Exactly. Exactly. And keep in mind, we teenagers that ain't even really experienced heartbreak in our life, but we believe we have. Like when you watching these videos of these little kids singing music, and you like, who hurt her?
I
Who?
know, and they be making those faces
Yeah,
too.
and they just be so passionate about it, like they've experienced something in their life, but it's
Yeah.
because the music has the power
Yeah.
to transmute. You know what I'm saying?
I
Now,
mean,
yeah,
Psalms, all is the power of music.
that's
David
it.
used to play to get the evil spirits away from King Saul. How do
Yeah,
we not know the importance of music? Like
yeah,
everything is right there. You can feel it take over your spirit when you're listening to certain kinds of music.
yeah,
So I'm just like, for us to collectively gaslight each other and be like, nah, it's not that deep. It's
yeah,
just we want it. We just want something catchy that sounds good. But it's so interesting because in the early 2000s, there was a time where gospel music was catchy like that, where we was
Yeah,
all stomping and
yeah,
it was Mary
correct.
Mary and stuff. So
Yeah.
there was a run with that, but the church ruined it by being the church.
As they always do. As they always do.
And then there's a lot of corruption behind the scenes when it comes to gospel music, and there was that
All
gospel
of it.
show that's like American Idol that had a bunch of
Sunday's
scandal
best.
surrounding it. Yes, that had
Sunday's
a bunch
best.
of scandal surrounding it, and then finding out, I forget, Kelly Price. I don't think it was Kelly Price or someone who moved over to gospel music. Like when she talks, it's just like, oh, you're an evil person. The stuff that you're talking about, the mean things that you're saying,
Yep.
but all your music is about God. So it's like there's a sellout there
Yeah.
too, where it's
Yeah.
like, so I'm at the point where it is difficult for me to separate the art from the artist, which is why I'm still listening to my 90s playlist, or I listen to like
Come on.
trip hop, which is just
Come
like
on.
they say a couple phrases over a
Yep.
tight beat, and that's all I need. Because for me, in my journey as an artist, the hardest thing I've ever had to do is be about it. I've
Yeah.
been talking about self love forever. Did
Yeah.
I love myself? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Just a mess, just a
Yeah.
whole mess. And when
Yeah.
I started doing my integrity work, and integrity is mirroring all the parts of yourself to make sure that you make sense as a
Yeah.
person, it has
Yeah.
to make sense. I can't be like,
Quality
it's sovereign
control.
season. Don't you ever let a nigga be a reason. And I'm getting played by dudes in the corner. I have to be about it. And
Yeah.
it's hard because I'm
Yeah.
still a pick me
Yeah.
deep down. And
Yeah.
I am susceptible to
Yeah.
getting played by niggas. But
Yeah.
the thing that I'm like, it's bigger than this. I am representing this art that I am putting out.
Yep.
And you can feel that power
Yeah.
on stage. You can feel it in every word that I say because my soul backs it up.
Yeah.
And the fact that we have allowed the music industry to infiltrate artists and redirect souls, I think is problematic. And I just can't stand for it anymore. But there's no way to speak on these things without sounding like an auntie.
Yeah. And here we are as the aunties. And
Here
granted,
we
like you
are.
said, yeah, and granted, like you said, there's gonna be a lot of younger people that if they listen to this, they're gonna be like, there they go. Then there's gonna be people that's our age that's gonna be like, come on, just let the kids be the kids. It's cool. And then there's gonna be people that agree with us. And you know what? The most important thing about this is where we stand on it, us deciding where we stand on it.
Yeah,
That is how change takes place, by
yeah,
individuals deciding what they're going to stand on. When I
yeah,
operate in integrity and you operate in integrity, it doesn't matter if Young Miami doesn't. You know what I'm saying? Because the people whose lives we will touch will be impacted by the integrity that we stand in. And if more and more people decide that they aren't going to play in those pools, you know what I'm saying? That will change the nature of this world, whether
yeah,
it's little by little or a lot by a lot. But we have to decide as individuals, you know what I'm saying? If we're willing to say, nah, I ain't gonna do that. I know everybody else is
yeah,
doing it. I know it's cool, but I ain't gonna do that. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It doesn't align with me. I think that's the main part of this conversation that I think that India Arie was trying to get at. I don't even think that she was really dissing the song or
I
the
don't think so
artist as a
either.
whole. I think her point
Where's the
was that,
line?
yeah, like the fact that we can celebrate a song that we all know we disagree with. Like if we had to write it line by line and have to like do, you know how you do those little waivers and you got initial next to everything? If you had the
Yeah,
initial next to every line, how many of those lines would you support as
right.
something that you are, want to be, aspire to be,
Or
want your children
condone.
to be? You know what I'm saying? Like how many of those things can you sign off on? And if the answer is none, then
Then
why is it a bop? Because
yeah,
we could take that music and put a positive message to it and still have a bop.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Because the words isn't what's making it a bop.
yeah. But that's the insidious nature of the music industry. And that's why I hate that we don't think that deeply because you need to think about who does this edify right now? it
Yeah.
ain't us.
No.
So who is making sure that our community is never edified? Follow the money.
Yeah.
So
100%.
in
That's a whole nother
represented by this
conversation.
woman who's made clear that money is her only thing, on top of the homophobic things that she said online,
Yeah.
on top of the her going after other women that Diddy was messing with, nothing about her represents sisterhood, womanhood, anything positive other than she looks a certain way. So it's like, okay, we're just on board because it's a bop. We just glad she got music back out, but we're not looking at the totality of the picture. Like, no, this whole thing is harmful. This whole thing, like, shut it down. Where does it end? And I feel like India Arish, she brought to like the conversation that need to be had, and then she washed her hand of it. And I'll say like the beautiful thing for anyone who like, because I know for me, I I understand what it is to attempt to walk this earth as a peculiar people,
Mhm.
as someone who's in the world and not of it. As worldly as I still am, I still feel the separation. But I thank God for how He allows me to see the influence that I do have, and
Yeah.
that's the thing that keeps me going. So with this NDRE thing, I noticed on Threads there were people who were just caping for her. They were like, NDRE has been about this life. She's not saying anything new that she hasn't said in all of her
All
songs and
her songs,
albums. She
right?
came into the
Yeah.
industry and then they
Consistent.
started breaking
She's
down
being
neo
consistent.
soul. Yeah, they started breaking down neo soul and getting back to like, no, this is what this movement was about. And they were talking about they would go into spaces and people would make fun of them and try to be like, oh, they smell because they wear natural deodorant. There was like a hazing, humiliation ritual process they had to go through just to get
Yeah.
on the scene with their positive music that they were doing. So it's
Yeah.
interesting to see it all play out and see like slowly, I know maybe Gen X and millennials being like, you know what, she's always been on this, and at one time
Yeah.
we were rocking with her on this, so why are we switching it up on her
Yeah.
now? Like,
Yeah.
she's saying the same thing. So there has been some positives to come out with it, but I do see the divisiveness between the generations, because I do think that Gen Z is being pushed and younger generations are being pushed into more like um overt sexuality, consuming other people, being more transactional. And the thing that I hate is being good TV. They're all
Yeah.
in front of cameras. They're all like coming up with these obnoxious personalities, making fun of other people, whatever it takes to get you
Yeah.
attention on this media source. But in real life, that doesn't make you a good person. I had to
Yeah.
talk to my youngest about this, where she'll just be like, "Oh, I'm just rage baiting," and I was like, that makes you like not a good friend. No one wants to be rage baited. Like,
Yeah.
you let your yay be yay and your nay be
And
nay.
that's it.
Say the thing. You don't need to be sarcastic. You don't
Yeah.
need to bring up hurtful stuff to rile people up. You're not a
Yeah.
troll on the internet. You're
Yeah.
trying to engage in relationship with someone. So
Yeah.
this music stuff does not translate to real life. We're in this
People are
place
taught to
where
be trolls. Being a troll is a thing. Being a
it
troll is,
is.
yeah, you know what I mean? So that's the thing. You got people out here doing these weird ass pranks to each other and
Oh, I
all. I
hate it.
mean, it's just like, and it's all for laughs and likes and,
Yeah.
you know, and that's why people like NDRE won't get a play
Well,
because it's
and we
not
could get
something
away
that
with
can be
saying that in the
celebrated.
90s, like,
Yeah.
oh, how does it affect us? But now with social media and the internet and how like everything is just one big world, and we
Yeah.
try to pretend it's not. People say, oh, it's only the internet, it's only online. If you talk to me crazy online, it hurts my feelings in real time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to pretend like this is an alternate, and I was like, this is fascinating side note too. It's just like it's like we've created another realm. There's the spirit realm, there's the realm here. And we've created this realm where we're trying to make the rules up as we go. And it's like
Yeah.
just as in the spirit realm, what happens there affects here. What happens in this realm that we're trying to create affects everything. So you
Mhm.
cannot tell me that it's all not related and that we don't need to like talk to our children about like, no, this is real. And if you show up as this person as you're trying to show up on camera, then you're gonna have a hard time. You're gonna get punched in your face
Yeah.
in real time.
Boop, boop. Boop, boop.
Right. You
You
can
know
let
what I'm
you
saying?
can
Like,
rage bait if you
yeah,
want to, but I mean,
100%. 100%.
so
And I don't
I
want to, I don't want to do that, but I will.
yeah. You mean punch people in the
You
face?
know what
I
I'm
just need
saying?
permission.
I mean, I don't want to do that, but I will. You know what I'm saying? But I wish we lived in a world where we were all aligned on that. You know what I'm saying? That we just that we goes back to what you said about self-love. It all starts there. Like I have to ask myself often, not because I'm questioning myself, but just for alignment's sake. Like when I'm listening or saying anything, like we might be talking about something and our baby father come up and then I say something, I'm like, I immediately, Lord forgive me. Let me not judge this man. This, that, and the third. Thank you to, that he came into my life, he came into her life. Together they made these beautiful children. I have to reinforce the thoughts that really align with what I really feel when my
Yeah.
flesh is at a point where it wants to be whatever it wants to be. It wants to say and do whatever it wants to say and do. But that's my job. It's my
Yeah.
job to protect myself because if I were to entertain that thought and then speak on that thought, then act on that thought, then I start to perpetuate that thinking in my actions. It becomes who I am. You know what I'm saying? It then becomes the influence on my children. It then becomes the nature of the relationship that we have with their father or each other. It then breathes reason takes on a life of its own if
Yeah.
I put that energy into it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the end all be all. If this is like the wellspring of life, what you say, what you meditate on, what you deposit, this is
Yeah.
what you live from, then I have to decide what I'm going to live from. You know what I mean? And I think that it is a personal choice, but I think that everybody has to be having that conversation with themselves. I know it's a
Yeah.
bop. I know it's cool, but where's the waiver? Do I agree? Uh,
Yeah.
nope, can't say that line.
Yeah.
Uh, you know what I'm
I
saying?
love
We
how
got to
you
be there.
worded that. Because I think that is the pain point. That's what people are rising up against. It's that individualistic, don't tell me what to do energy. And it's like, no one's
Mm,
telling you what to do. They're just introducing a point. And I think that's what people
yeah,
miss about like disruptors, about truth
yeah,
tellers. And people are called by, spiritually by God to do a thing. I'm here to plant the seed. Whether it falls on concrete or on like soil is up to you what you want to do with it. And I think
yeah,
there's just like an uproar with ever who the messenger is. And it's like, that's not even the point, is to question your morals and who you are. It's to shed light on the background of what this is and see how are you going to, if you are going to pivot. The
yeah,
the idea is to plant the seed. That's it.
yeah, yeah. And I think that we are so tired of being policed that
Yes,
to your point,
especially
that's
black
where it comes.
people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where it comes from. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
You
dang, you can't
can't tell
have
me what
nothing.
to do.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Can't enjoy nothing. It's not even that big of a deal. Like, you know what I'm saying? You just you just looking for a lighthearted moment in your life
Yeah.
because everything is so hard and taxing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But even in those moments, we still have to decide. And that's where we don't actually get a day off. There's
Yeah.
some things about us where we don't get a day off from.
Yeah.
And we can't get a day off from standing in the truth of who we are, who we want to be, and who we've been called to be. You know what I'm saying? Those are the things you can't take a day off from because that one day off, it's like everybody knows if you working in the world, whether it's corporate America or somewhere else, if there's a job that only you do, when you take off, you come back to a mess. You know what I'm saying? It almost feels like a penalty to take off to have the time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I say that to say, if you're going to do that in somebody else's world and for somebody else's organization, consider having that same loyalty to yourself about your position and how every time you take a day off from your
Yeah.
morals and your values and your standards, the double work you show back up to when you have to rewrite everything, rewrite the code, rewrite the mission, you know what I'm saying? Rewrite the SOP because we took a day off from what we
Yeah.
knew was right, what we knew to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that's the important thing. I think whether it's this song or another one, whether it's that TV show or a different one, whether it's this relationship or that one, this platform or that one, it are you in alignment with it? The answer
Yeah.
is simple. There's only two.
Yeah.
There is no gray. I was telling somebody the other day that gray is a color that is made. That is by us saying, I want to take this and I want to mix it with this. And when I do that, I create this. But
Yeah.
that is not a primary color. Gray is made. So in a black and white sense, do I align? Do I not align? It's
Yeah.
one of those what do you call those little joints where you ask a question, it's like yes you go this way, no you go that way, you know
Oh
what I'm saying?
yeah.
You got to be going through that process with every single thing in your life
Yeah.
and deciding, because whatever one you choose you got to live with the next direction that it takes, who you
Yeah.
become because you said yes, or who you become because you said no, who you become because you turn that song, and who you
Yeah.
become because you sing it instead. Like that is what we all have to decide.
I really love that analogy actually. It for me it sums up like what it is as much as, and it's so funny we had Randy on, we talked about deconstruction work, and I know within my own deconstruction work I realized that there's more gray than I realized. But then bringing it back to coming back into morality, integrity, and God, you have to clean up some of the gray because some of it is you made it gray because you just didn't
Yeah,
understand or didn't want to take a stance.
yeah,
And sometimes the gray turns into straddling the fence. And it's
yeah.
like at a certain point, you have to get off the fence and choose a side. It either is or it isn't. And
That's
that's
it.
just what it, and people don't want to take those hard stances. And it's something I notice in the younger generations because I watch a lot of their content on YouTube because the babies are so smart. I mean, they be on
Yeah,
top of it and they
brilliant,
go deep and
brilliant.
they go really deep, but they never choose a side. And I think that's always my gripe with like the Gen Z and younger generations is like, no, you presented all the evidence of why you would be against this, but you're afraid to say that you're against it because you want to
Yeah,
exist in a gray. And at a certain point, there is gray area because
oh,
everything is so vast, you're not going to
yeah,
get a clear black and white. But some things, as you get closer to yourself, as you get closer to God, as you do your integrity work, things get a little black and white.
yeah.
And you can't
Oh
be
no,
sure
no, no,
of
no,
the
no.
fence all the
Things get a lot black and white. They
time.
get a lot black and white. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah,
there is a definite line of demarcation.
yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? When you're doing that kind of work, you
yeah,
every time you know. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? That's the thing. Like you show up, you have the guidance, you have the understanding, you have the wisdom, you have the knowledge, you have the know-how, the bandwidth, the all you know. You are
yeah,
making a choice.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? You are making a choice every time.
yeah,
And for those who don't know, sadly, the people are destroyed because they lack knowledge. They don't get a pass because they didn't know. That's why it's important for us to be informed. But that's why it's also important for us to stand in integrity. Because when
yeah,
we, to your point, decide that we're going to straddle the fence, so we don't actually give people the opportunity to make an informed decision, we put them in a position to be destroyed
yeah,
because they couldn't choose. That again is on us.
yeah,
It's on us that
yeah,
we even played that thing. You know what I'm saying? It's on us that I don't agree with you doing this, but because I don't want to disrupt whatever this is, or I don't want to rock the boat, or I don't want to make the wrong choice, or I don't want to do this, I'm not going to actually really, I'm not going to stand where I belong on it. I'm gonna
yeah,
stand somewhere in the middle so that I'm palatable wherever I want to be
yeah.
palatable at that time. And all that's doing is destroying folks.
Yeah, and it's an identity issue because it's so funny. You said instead of standing where you belong, you're not going to belong anywhere if you're just like swaying
Yeah,
with the wind, trying
yeah,
to gain the favor of people.
yeah,
You just ain't
yeah,
gonna have it, especially this batch of people,
yeah,
worst season of Earth ever.
yeah.
Just new
And
records.
don't get me wrong, it's easier said than done. You know what I
Oh
mean?
my God, no, this is
as a
horrible. It's
parent,
not fun.
as a parent, you got to decide, as a spouse, you got to decide. And of course, we don't want to be, making decisions that harm the people that we love or push them away or whatever it is. You working in corporate America in this world that we live in right now, and you got to play your cards right because you can't be too much this or too much that. You know what I
Oh,
mean? So we're
absolutely.
constantly in this mixing pot. You know what I mean? And for that reason, though, that is even more why, when it comes down to music and the things that we can choose to consume, we have to have a place that we could go that is pure in heart, something that we
Yes,
can grab from. You know, we got to have places to go for that, for all of the stuff that's already spinning around us, that's ready to spin us out of control. That is how we find our balance. We're supposed to go to the music to be fed. You know what I'm saying? We're supposed to be go to the music to be uplifted. You know what I mean? That's the
yeah.
point. That's the
And we
point.
have
And
to be
that's
honest
how
with
we do it.
ourselves when it's not doing that. And
Correct.
it could, and that's
Correct.
why it's
Correct.
even like the execution, because I probably could have accepted the song from another artist if they were doing it as satire, or if they were doing it or something like that. But that's not what this is. This is
Yeah.
literally like meant to be fluff. That's a debased anthem of just do whatever you
Yeah.
want because they doing it. And it's
It's
like,
definitely not my song of the summer.
no,
It's definitely not my song of the summer. It's not on any
I gotta
playlist
tell you.
that I have. It's not gonna be on any playlist that I have. It's not my song of the summer.
It's already in my head.
Yeah. It's not even my song and it's in there.
Yeah. So
Imagine,
imagine.
imagine what imagine what I would be like if it was my song.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
just,
that is the scary part.
that's the scary
That is
part.
that is how we know the work that is going into getting us programmed, that we could have it playing and be rejecting it at the same time and it's still playing. That lets you know how deep the programming goes.
How deep the programming is. And when you look into how why people study, like as much as I love psychology, it is a dark art. And the reason why they study the brain and psychology and sociology is so that they can control. And people want to say it's not that deep, but we know it's
Definitely.
that deep. We
Yeah,
know
definitely.
in our souls that it's deep. But ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like how we're trying to play this out. But it's like that's why we are in a fascist government right now. I'm gonna stop. But
Yeah.
it's like
Hey,
we go
man.
ignorance to ignorance is bliss ourselves to death. And like you said, we perish for our lack of knowledge. And I'm just like, I know why, because it's painful to be in the know. It's
Yeah.
painful.
Yeah,
It's
because the
not
more
fun
you
to know.
because the more you know, the more you're responsible for.
And
People
the less
people
fun you
people
are,
want
I
to
would love to
people want to
be sitting
play
there.
yeah, people want to play dumb so that they can not have to take responsibility.
Yes.
You know what I'm
And to
saying?
belong.
People want to ignore so that they cannot take responsibility. You know what I'm saying? Like, because a part of belonging means that you now have to accept things that don't
Yeah.
align with you so you could
Yeah.
be here, which is not taking responsibility.
Yeah. But we're
But I want to
called
be
to
around
be,
people. I want to be around people that we can have a tough conversation and I can step on your toes without smearing your shoes. Like, that's
yeah.
the
Well, you're
kind of
gonna ease up
people
on the stepping on the toes now. You could probably step on
I'm
the
a
toes.
I'm a I'm a step on toes with my bare feet, so it's not as bad. Cause we both are here being vulnerable.
Still got toes that look like this from conversations. But you
Still
can't.
cramped. Still cramped up.
They still.
That's crazy. But no, we
But
got
I
it. But
think
that's
that's
that's a part of being in relationship though. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so
oh, but that's not the
necessary.
fun part of relationship. And I think that's why we have a proclivity toward aligning with people who have similar interests and likes. And I'm really proud of my friend group because I feel like it makes no sense. It's just like whiskey
We
hanging
all
out with
just
who?
doing whatever.
Because I align with authenticity. I align with whatever is real. I
Yeah,
align with whatever the truth is.
yeah,
And like as long as I know that you're operating in truth and I know that I'll be dealing with that,
yeah.
then that's where the alignment is. And
Period.
we don't listen to
Period.
the same music, don't go to the same shows, do the
No,
same things, but I know that we can speak truth.
that's it. 100%.
And I
100%.
think that
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 we're gonna
cuts down
respect
on
each
that
other
kind of
and we're
you
gonna
said
hear
what?
each other. I said that we're gonna respect each other. We're gonna hear each other out. We're gonna call each other on our shit. We're gonna say, well, no.
Yeah.
mm, why you gotta do that? You done hit me with a couple of them. Like, no, you don't. You don't have to
No,
do
I
that.
haven't.
Right. Yeah, you have.
The story
Yes,
is that you step on my toes.
yeah, that is the story, but that is not the truth. The truth is that we do it to each other, but that's how we hold each other accountable. And as
we do it to
friends,
each other.
as
You
we
handle
speak.
it better.
Maybe,
You get
maybe.
real quiet.
I get
Be like,
quiet and be
girl.
like, I get quiet and I be like, by the end of the conversation, I'd be like, yeah, you right. You right. You be like, I'm not talking to you for 6 months. And I'll be
That's
like,
unrelated.
and I'll be like this. All right, let me put my 6 month alarm in here to make sure I check in.
That's my friends.
But that's why I mean you gotta have people you can have these conversations with.
You really do. And yeah, and iron sharpens iron, and it would be a disservice had India Arie not spoken up and said something. We
Yeah,
should question why Young Miami has the song of the summer after everything that has transpired with Diddy and her proximity to him, the things that she said online that are super harmful. And we should think about the ways that we just accept artists for who they are, who we believe them to be based on our like of their music, and how that's a halo effect. But if you see someone tweeting this stuff, you see the ugliness in their heart, you see what they're about, and you're still in alignment with it or trying to be aligned with it because it's a bop. I don't need to shake my derriere that hard. I just
no.
don't. But I'm older, so maybe I miss it. And I know I would be a
This is
buzz, and I know
Auntie.
what it is to be a buzzkill. I was at an event where they played R. Kelly, and I immediately stopped dancing. And I was like, why are we playing R. Kelly? And somebody walked by me and was like, oh, not a protest. Yes, a protest. You
Right.
tell
Every
children that
time.
you do not care about them
Every time.
anytime you play R. Kelly.
Yeah.
There's this deep dive, this woman, T Noir, who's doing it's like a 2 hour dive on Hollywood predators. And she opened with Michael Jackson and with direct quotes from interviews. And I was like, I gotta stop listening to Michael Jackson because it doesn't, as much as I was just like, oh, I don't think he went to trial and everything's good. She
Yeah.
opened with a video of Michael Jackson talking about how he feels like opening your bed to people is the most loving thing you could do. And yes, he slept with children. And I was like, as a mother, my rule is like, you mess with children, I don't bang with you. And I was like, this gonna be hard.
So was his statement that he slept with children like intimately, or that he slept with children in his bed?
The conversation was that he slept with children in his bed. Me and where I align in my black and white thing is we don't do that. These are not your children. These are not, you're not related. You sleeping with children in the bed. There's no way that you can, and especially if we're trying to held him like a hero, he was saving kids from Epstein and stuff. Then so you saved them from that bed to be in yours? Nope. The optics, I just got to
I
be
just,
out. My black
I'm
and
not,
white is
I'm not
children.
saying, I'm not saying that I agree one way or the other. I just wanted to make sure I had clarity on the statement. That's all.
No, no, no. And I'll
Because I didn't
actually
hear
like
it.
link
I didn't
the
hear it, so I wanted to make sure
yeah, I'll link
I
the
understood
deep
the statement.
dive. I'll link her video, but I have to like I was like, oh, I have to mentally prepare to watch this because I might have to let some things go because I had a
Yeah.
podcast on
Because
Behind the
sometimes you have to.
Paywall where we were justifying Michael Jackson, talking about, oh, that's different and that's not the same, blah blah blah. But once I saw that, I was like, I gotta let it go. I gotta stand on you don't touch children, you don't put children in
Understood.
situations that are
Understood.
if you have a
That are
whole
harmful.
like amusement park home where children love to go, but the caveat is that you guys sleep in the bed with this adult at the end of the day. That's coercion. That's not okay.
Yeah.
I can't bang
100%.
with it. I
Agreed.
don't care if you are
Agreed.
a kid at heart and you were abused and you just want to be around the kids.
Agreed.
No, I'm a
Agreed.
hard no.
Yeah. See, well, here's the thing. I think that um, like that whole phrase of when in doubt, do without. See, I'm here for that. I'm here
Yeah.
for um being uh how can I say this? I'm trying to decide if I'm here for being right about the wrong thing or being wrong about the right thing. But either way, The point is
Yeah.
that if I am willing to take a stance on this, that is less risk than not. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So for me,
Yes.
it doesn't matter if it turns out that it all works itself out great. I didn't hurt
Yeah.
anybody by
Yeah.
deciding that I didn't want to hurt anybody. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's the
Yeah.
point. You know what I'm
But
saying?
the
Like, who's going to be
benefits
like,
were,
aha, it wasn't him. Aha, he didn't do it. So the kids didn't get
what did
hurt
I
because when they were
lose
with me,
from
I
not
protect
listening
them.
to human
Right.
nature? I'm
Correct. That
okay.
right. That's the
I can
that's
do
the
it.
point.
And what do I
That's
lose
the point.
from not listening to that and having the cohesive message coming from me that I am safe for children?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there
Period.
are young poets. I don't double tap on their stuff. I don't even know if I follow them because I'm an adult. I talk about
Yeah.
adult things. I don't want to be like I don't
Yeah.
want my message to be around children. I don't want to be liking children's posts and like I'm just not with it. I take a hard stance when it comes to that because I think children need safety in this world, and the
Yeah.
way people talk about children and the way that we sexualize children,
Gross.
especially in America, is like
Gross.
gross. So I'm like, children need spaces where it's just like, no, it's safe here. I'm an adult, we is separate. I care
Man,
about you,
I
but
struggle. I struggle because my daughter is in dance, and a part of being in dance means, you know, for me, a lot of times, a lot of presenting in a more adult kind of manner. You know what I'm saying? Whether
yeah,
it's through the
yeah,
music, whether it's through the dance. And there's a dance that they do that I love a lot. You know what I'm saying? It's called
yeah,
House Party. And it the nostalgia in it, I love it. You know what I'm saying? Because it
yeah,
takes me back to a time when music was a certain kind of way. I still hate that it's my daughter doing it. You know what I'm saying? That she has perfected it. And we were having a conversation the other day, and I was like, man, it's like she was there. Like she's
yeah,
doing it like she was there. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah,
Like that makes me uncomfortable.
yeah.
And then I know that there's certain people in this world that will say, well, that's what's wrong with the world, that a kid should be able to do this and that and not be blah, blah, blah. But
But yeah,
yeah,
that is
but
what's
we,
wrong with the world. It is.
right.
And you have to
Yeah,
accommodate that just
but
like
we
I
are
have to
in
wear
that
a bra.
world. Yeah,
I
but
have
we
to
are
wear a
in that
bra.
world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to, that's just what it is.
Sadly,
And
we are in that world.
yeah,
So
and
it's,
that's
it's that's it's tough watching, like sitting there and just like a lot of times I'm sitting in the competitions and I'm looking around the room and I just know that there's somebody in this room that is not treating this experience with the level of care and innocence it needs for this to be a
right,
healthy environment. There is a
right,
predator in this room. I know it. You know what
right.
I'm saying? Because there's always one. Sadly,
Yeah.
we live in
Because
a world
yeah,
where
the
there's
numbers
always
are not
one.
looking great. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
They
you know
roll
what I'm
deep.
saying? Yeah, so it's like it's tough, you know what I'm saying? Like existing in a world where everything is complicated and complex
Yeah.
and you got to decide all the time, but you have to decide.
Yeah. And we do our part. And I do think that with this conversation that has come to head, it made me realize, like you said, oh, I don't get a day off. I'd be like, I don't have to do this poetry. Who am I really talking to? No one cares about this. And then stuff like this comes up, and I'm like, that's why. I
Yeah.
need to show up here and
Yeah.
say to whoever I can, whatever platform I can, is that you don't have to do womanhood this way. There's another
Yeah.
way to be, and that is okay. There are other options, and I feel like it's my job to just plant the seed. Is this what you want? Do you find power in overt sexuality, or is that what they're telling you? Is that
Yeah.
really power, or are you and I say that story because that was my story. I thought I was so empowered, and I was like, no, I have low self-esteem and I'm searching for affection and I'm seducing people thinking that that makes me powerful when really it just makes me like weak and sad and I
Yeah.
don't like it. So
Yeah.
my purpose on the scene, my purpose in the artistry is always ask the question, is this who you are? Do
Yeah.
you really want this? And I
That's it.
think that's all of our work to always
Yeah.
ask ourselves and each other that question. Do you align with this? Is this where you want to be? So kudos to India Ari on her auntie
Yeah.
gathering the girls
Yeah.
together And yeah, we'll let the chips fall where they may, but I ain't messing with it. As for
Yeah,
me and my
and here's the
house,
thing: the same way that we don't have to listen to that, nobody has to listen to this. If you're
yeah,
not in alignment with this, then you know. But the point is, find somewhere to stand and
yeah.
stand on it.
Yeah. But if your inner working is always to argue both sides without ever coming to a conclusion,
You don't have a
how
plan to take
often
a
does
stand.
that happen? Yeah, and where does your integrity stand? You
Yeah.
can only compartmentalize so much of yourself before it has to start making sense, or you start feeling like
Yeah.
a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways.
Yeah.
Trust me, I've
Yeah.
been double-minded the majority of my life, and I felt like
Yeah.
I was under demonic possession because I just wasn't making any sense. But it
Because in
feels
theory you
better to
were.
have the clarity.
Yeah, in theory you were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I definitely think that's a mental health thing, but I don't like to talk about that because the mental health community be
And
up
that's
in
a
arms and stuff.
and that's another conversation for another day.
Now, here we go. I know. And we way over. My timer went off like a while ago. But I love these conversations. We gonna
Yeah,
watch it back
I'm
and
here
we'll do
for
nothing else.
it. Yeah, that's it. If nobody sees
I
it,
need
we
all
do.
the
We
views
got
on the
something
podcast.
from it. Shit. Hey, we got something from it. And honestly, that is the work. You know what I'm saying? A
Yeah.
pastor should be doing the work, encouraging him or herself with the message. That should be overflowing. We do this because we have to heal our own selves. While we
Yeah.
do that, we become a mirror and an example for other people to do it. If we are the only ones that heal from the conversation we have,
Then that's all good.
someone has been healed and that was the job. Yeah. That's it. This girl, you know what I mean? So even if just us, sometimes it might just be us. But
Yeah.
that is who is was designed to serve. And that's whose lives is being changed.
Yeah.
And if that's it, I'll take it.
I like a little echo chamber action.
Hello.
Anyway, this was good as per usual.
That's pretty good.
Yes. So thank you for the conversation and thank you to you all for checking us out. And if you
Yep.
liked it or didn't like it, thumbs up or thumbs down. It's all engagement. It all pushes it out to the algorithm. But
Absolutely.
definitely these are conversations that you are welcome to join. So you can always like chat with us in the live chat or leave a comment. We would love to engage and talk more because that's what this is about. During this time, we're not having the conversations and we don't want to type it out on social media. We want to talk. So hit
That's
us
it.
up, find a way for us to interact. That's what this all is for. And this has been another episode of the Everybody Can't Go podcast. I'm Whiskey and I'm here with TK.
It's me.
And we are saying good day. Peace, everybody. We'll see you next time.